So Sony apparently, because they realize that nobody cares about the PS5 outside of scalpers, that you know what make people buy the PS5 now, outside of course scalpers, which are probably half of the PS5 sales at this point. Who's gonna buy the PS5? Well, PS4 owners, so they can rebuy the same games over and over again, because of course that strategy works for Nintendo. Because of course no one bought the Wii U. Of course, I think the point Wii U games to the Switch made more sense considering the abysmal sales of the Wii U. But the PS5, no, the PS4 was on the top of the world. Okay, you don't see Microsoft is charging $70 for the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox Series X. Only Sony is charging $30 for the next gen games and ports, to say that least, ports of older games. But again, the Sony average always thought everywhere, but they'll be in 4K. It'll be worth the $70. That's like your average, Sony Todd defense, which is absolutely sad to see at least. You know, Again, no one was defending Mario All Stars collection on the Switch, but when Sony does the same thing with Uncharted and now Bloodborne, it seems that, and these are all leaked, same thing with Mario All Stars, it seems that nobody is talking about it. Because you know what? Sony's gonna sell Bloodborne Remastered Edition for $70. The same game that you could have bought easily for $60 on the PS4 and easily upgrade it. You can easily buy the game Bloodborne on PS4 and easily upgrade it. Same thing with Uncharted 4, Uncharted Nathan J Collection, and Uncharted for the Lost Legacy, or whatever that game was called. You can easily upgrade all of those games for around, I believe, for around free. And rest Sony's gonna make you pay $10 because Sony is being the absolutely greediest company outside of EA and Activision this console generation. First of all, they were the ones that increased the claim prices to $70. It was all because of Sony. All because Sony wanted extra money out of your wallets. And now they're wanting you extra money to play games like Death Stranding on the PS4. Even though it should be free to play a PS4 game on a PS5. But nope, Sony's gonna cost you $10 to play a game on your next gen console. With Microsoft basically getting ready to upgrade Xbox One games at no cost. But Sony fanboys are gonna still fall for the same traps over and over again and still pay, I pay the $10 and buy another console. Because at least Sony has the quote unquote quality exclusives. Okay? That's the only thing that's really saving Sony at this point from absolute flop after flop after flop. People are saying the PS5 is the fastest selling console in all of history, when half of the console sales are from scalpers, not even actual people. Bull. Bull. Or at least 1/3 of the console sales, which is absolutely sad given the quote unquote Sony's boasting about 9 million consoles sold in less than a year of its life cycle. Sony's boasting about its console sales, even though I think half of its sales are most likely bought by scalpers, because Sony can't, keep up with production values. But Sony is selling so badly in like America and Japan that it's so, like, for example, the PS5 digital edition is being outsold by the Xbox Series X and Xbox, which is an absolute joke. Sony is supposed to be on top of this console generation, but in Japan, Nintendo is beating them in Japan. And the USA, for the last month, they've been coming in third place of all the console makers. Despite releasing Ratchet and Clank, it seems that people are not buying into Sony anymore. And Ratchet and Clank seems like another cash grab right out the gate. Oh, you know what? Nintendo's selling so well, so let's bring back Ratchet and Clank. We gotta bring back Ratchet and Clank to compete with Mario, because that's really going to drive PS5 sales. or Sony charge you $70 for ports of PS4 games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, even when that game's sort of been multi-platform. But again, Square Enix is probably, I think Square Enix's game is basically becoming a Sony bootlegger at this point, where they're basically praising The Last of Us Part 2 like it's a masterpiece, even though it's a pile of garbage. But praising it for its greatness and its diversity, like, oh my god. Like, just shut the hell up, Square Enix. And yep, Bloodborne PS5 rumors continue, and it'll arrive for both PS5 and PC. Because of course Sony just wants the cash grab of a PS4 for games. And they showed that in of course the Sony State of Play. They're already pouring Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding to the PS5 because they can't think of any good games to port to release. So they're just gonna go the old way and port PS4 games to the new Gen console after the failure of The Last of Us Part 2 and the death of that franchise. So Sony doesn't really have anything special on the console. And unlike the Nintendo Switch, which was porting Wii U games, which was just survivable because the Wii U sold poorly, Sony's just porting PS4 games in hope of getting actual people to buy the console that is not a scalper. It seems that Sony is starting to lose steam. So that's basically it. Goodbye.